Namaste and good morning, everyone. Was waiting for the students here to join. I hope I'm audible. Yes. Hope you had a great weekend. Those who are watching me on the recorded session as well, still not seeing many people here. We will continue with our anatomy and the physiology of the system. We have seen or introduced the digestive system in the previous lecture. So today we will see the process of it, how it works. So like the physiology behind the digestive system and how it functions. Before we start, we will chant a mantra and a prayer and Om one time. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much. Let us begin with the digestive system, the physiology. You have seen the structure and the parts and the anatomy behind it. Now we will proceed further with our physiology of it. So, speaking about the digestive system, we'll write here directly the topic today. What we have seen or what have we studied on the weekend, on the last weekend, on the Saturday. We have seen, in short, the process of the digestive system where it begins from the secretion, then from the ingestion, then the secretion, mixing and movement, digestion, absorption, and excretion. Apart from that process, which we have already mentioned in the previous video, today we will proceed further with the part and how it functions. So also we have seen about the diagrammatic representation of the digestive system. So please do refer the diagram which we have drawn in the previous session. Okay, now from the diagrammatic representation we have studied the mouth, and what is inside the mouth we studied the first where the mechanical digestion begins, that is the teeth. The number of teeth 32, 16 in the upper jaw, 16 in the lower jaw, where it has the different functions for the different sets of teeth, which we have studied already on the last session. The second thing is important in the mouth is our salivary gland. So as the food will enter the mouth, the mechanical digestion will begin right in our oral cavity. With the help of the teeth, it will try to cut the food into smaller components. As much as slow or as much as steady we eat, the more the food gets digested mechanically in our mouth only. So approximately you have to bite or chew the food more than 40 to 50 number of times here to digest it properly without getting any problems related with the stomach or the abdomen later. So try to digest your food mechanically before it enters the stomach in the mouth itself. With couple of times you have to chew more. Then after the teeth cut the food, the salivary glands. How many salivary glands will be present in our mouth? There will be 6 salivary glands. How many? There will be 6 salivary glands in a pair of two. So three on each side and three on the other side. We have these salivary glands which produce the liquid saliva, which contains also the enzymes, and also it helps to moisten the food. So this salivary gland helps to make the food soft, or it moistens the food, make it soft. After moistening the food, making it soft, this salivary gland, the number of salivary glands are 6. So where are these salivary glands? I will make it here. This is what our structure of a face. To this, at the cheek side, you will find here one salivary gland. That salivary gland is known to be as carotid gland. I will write here P. This salivary gland will be named as parotid gland. This is the side view section of a face. So make sure there are two parotid glands on each side. This is one side. Then we have another salivary gland right below the tongue. So right below the tongue, you will find the salivary gland that is known to be as sublingual gland. Sublingual gland. This is what you will find below the tongue. This parotid gland you find here at the side of the cheek. Sublingual below the tongue. And we have the third salivary gland, that is submandibular gland. Where is the submandibular gland? Under the mandible bone, right over here below the cheek. This gland is known to be as submandibular gland. So like these two parotid glands, two sublingual glands and two mandibular glands will make the total number of salivary glands 6. So 3 on each side. This is the side view. The same you will find on the opposite side of this face. So 3 on each side. These are the salivary glands: parotid, sublingual, and submandibular, which helps to moisten the food, make it soft and easy for the tongue to swallow. So for the tongue, is it easy to swallow? Then what is exactly also on the surface of the tongue? That we will see. I erase this now and we will see the next tongue. So in the oral cavity only, here mechanical digestion, we have the tongue. We'll have to write here the number of the tongue. Here actually we have only one tongue where it represents the, this is the upper jaw, the palate, and this is your tongue. But here is your tongue, you have the rough papillae, the small tiny hairs on the surface of our tongue. That is the rough papillae, and this rough papillae is for the purpose like to hold and grip the food. So the purpose of this rough papillae is to hold and grip the food, which will be easy for the tongue to swallow. So the food will not slip from the tongue right in our throat region. So when we will eat, after the teeth will cut the food, the salivary glands will soft or moisten the food. The tongue will have the tiny hair, the papillae, that will grip hold the food, will not allow it to slip directly into the throat. And the tongue also has some taste buds. Those taste buds you will see is right over here. The tongue will have at the tip this sweet taste bud. So the taste of the sweet you will see at the bottom. Then you will find at the corner just behind the two tests. Those are known to be as salty. So salty tests are behind at the corner of the tongue. More backward towards the tongue, you will see another two tests. And more behind, if you will see, you will find out the taste sour. And you will find out the taste sour. And if you will move more behind over here, you will find out the taste bitter. So why are these taste buds all over the tongue? As the food will move from these surfaces. As the food will pass through this tip of the tongue, you will feel the sweetness of the food. When the food will pass through the side of the tongue, you will feel the saltiness. When the food will pass from the back of the tongue at the corner, you will find the savory or the sourness of the food, how much sour the food is or the fruit is. The bitter taste as it moves past behind the tongue, it is the bitter. But at the center, right here, and the center, there is a taste that is a mixture of bitter, sour, salty, and sweet, or the mixture of sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. That is known as umami. So umami is the taste buds which are present on the surface of our middle tongue or the middle surface of our tongue. So here we have seen what? In the oral cavity, as the food will pass, the teeth will cut the food, the salivary glands will make the food soft, and the tongue will be helpful to swallow the food easily by holding and gripping the food. Now, I hope this is clear. Try to remember the number of the 6 salivary glands with the mechanical digestion in the oral cavity. We will proceed further as the food will pass, as the tongue will swallow the food. The next region, even if you will check your previous diagram, please try to always refer the previous diagram from the last session. That is helpful. So you will find out there a region of the throat, and that region of the throat is our pharynx region. I have mentioned. I have not mentioned there in diagrammatic representation. That is our throat, but pharynx is the region that is also known to be as our throat. So apart from the mouth, teeth, salivary glands, and the tongue, the second one will be the throat or the pharynx region. So we'll erase this now. Second thing, here I will write pharynx, nothing but our throat region, the throat section. Here the pharynx known to be as our throat. There are the regions of the throat. So as the tongue will swallow the food will enter so this is your food pipe. Here is the mouth, and at the back, at the posterior end, of the oral cavity, right over here, you will see the pharynx region. So these pharynx regions are two types in the digestive system because we eat with the mouth. But in the respiratory system, when we will study later, You will find out three types of pharynx region because that time we can breathe with the nose and the mouth as well. I am showing here only two types of pharynx because we are studying digestive system. So right over here, if I will mention, this region is known to be as ossopharynx. Why? Because this region is situated at the end of the oral cavity. But right below the ossopharynx, there will be the laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx. This is not a different parts of the throat. This is one section of the throat which has these types. So space, the space created at the end of the oral cavity known as ossopharynx and the space below that ossopharynx known as laryngopharynx. These are pharynx, nothing but our throat region only. As the food will pass more further below and more down, so when the food will pass through the mouth here with the help of the teeth and the salivary glands and the tongue, it will swallow, it will enter the ossopharynx, laryngopharynx. Then you will have a region known as epiglottis. The region known as epiglottis. If you will see this blue section which I have made up of boxes, a couple of boxes which I made here. This is what epiglottis, the blue one. This is the different section from the pharynx. So write down here number 3 and label it as epiglottis. What is this epiglottis? Epiglottis is a flap of tissue. I repeat, epiglottis is a flap of tissue that helps the food to enter the food pipe only. Epiglottis is an involuntary organ just above our food pipe. So just below the epiglottis, your food pipe begins. That is an involuntary organ. That means involuntary organ means it is not in control with our mind, which means the function or the duty of the epiglottis is that epiglottis is doing its own duty, which is not in control with our mind. So if we can control our blinking of the eyes whenever we want, it blinks. If we control the movement of the arm or any part, that is voluntary action. But involuntary action is what? Whenever we will eat the food, it will automatically send into our food pipe. Even though we know that we have windpipe also right there located next to the food pipe, but behind the food pipe, in front of the food pipe. But this epiglottis will not allow this food to enter the windpipe if with our actions, like if we are eating while lying on the bed, or if we are not sitting erect, straight while eating, that time this food may enter our windpipe. That time we cough, or that is what a small cough we do to bring out the food. A particle of the food may enter in the windpipe that time. So that is what the epiglottis is not functioning properly at that time. But it's not its fault. The fault is where we didn't sit properly or sat properly, but in a wrong position we were while having a meal. So try to eat with a right position or try to sit sweat while eating the food so that your epiglottis can send the food directly to the food pipe to function properly. Clear? What is the epiglottis? Involuntary organ, not in control with our mind. I will erase this now and we will proceed further. The next is our food pipe. So you see here the food pipe right below the epiglottis. Will erase all these things, and the next diagrammatic representation and the explanation will be given from the food pipe directly instead of drawing the human face. So mouth, pharynx, epiglottis. So three parts. The physiology of the three parts. The next is the number 4, esophagus. Esophagus. Nothing but our food pipe. About the esophagus and the food pipe here. So this food pipe is directly going and connecting our stomach. So this food pipe is what? Which connects our throat region to our stomach. So which connects our throat region along with the epiglottis. So here I will write the throat to our stomach. This food pipe has or contains many waves of peristalsis. Waves of peristalsis. What are these waves of peristalsis? That means many different waves of peristalsis are being present in our food pipe, which allows the food to move slowly into our stomach. These waves of peristalsis are what? Which allows the food to travel slowly in the stomach. It is not like when we eat the food, it doesn't drop down in 1 second directly into our stomach. When we swallow, it doesn't drop down directly into our stomach. What happens? It takes many waves of this peristalsis, which helps this food to travel down slowly into our stomach. So this food pipe connects our throat and the stomach, allows the food to drop and travel down to the stomach. At the end of this food pipe here, I will show you the red marker. You see the ring? This ring with the red marker at the end of the food pipe, but before the stomach is what? The esophageal sphincter. The esophageal sphincter. This red ring. This esophageal sphincter is what? Which hold and trap the food inside the stomach. So once the food is been inside the stomach, the esophageal sphincter is closed and it holds and traps the food right inside our stomach. So whatever acids and the particles of the food present in the stomach will not travel up the food pipe. So almost more than 80% of people, those who are suffering from the acidic problems or the acidity or the acid reflux problem. That is what happening. These acids and the food particles from the stomach are traveling up to the food pipe here, and they feel like the burning sensation like heartburn or the food pipe burning, eating more spicy or more than the capacity of the stomach. So make sure we should eat as much or in limited. We have to. If, for example, if there is our favorite food item here, but make sure that doesn't mean we have to eat more than our capacity. We have to make sure that we should eat in a limit so that we cannot suffer from the acid reflux problem. Lot of people in this world suffering from this acid reflux due to the weak sphincter. So the sphincter becomes weak after we keep loading the amount of the favorite food items which you like without any limit. So make sure try to eat as much as it is needed. The next about the esophagus food pipe is this thing sphincter. Now I will erase it and we'll see the next organ of this system, that is our stomach. The esophagus was our food pipe. Now we will see and proceed with the stomach. In the diagram, you see here the stomach. The size of the stomach. What is the average size of our stomach? Our stomach, up till here, is it clear what we have studied or what we have been looking or what have we have been studying for the digestive system? I hope we are going too slow here so that you get time to make down some notes and you get a proper explanation with each and every organ, hopefully. The next is our stomach. How I will proceed with the stomach. The average size when we see the stomach of us or any person or any people around us, don't think that the whole abdomen is your stomach. I have not drawn the stomach in the circular pot or in a square. So people think our this whole abdomen right below our chest region is our stomach. But our stomach is very small. It is just the size of our two fists kept next to each other. So when we make two fists at the side of each other, this is the average size of the stomach. When the food is there, it is closed. When there is more food than the capacity, it gets open and the food travels up. So the rest of the abdomen is made up of the intestines and the rest of the organs as well. So here in our stomach, we have the acid in the stomach. Which form of acid do we have in the stomach? HCl, that means hydrochloric acid. Along with the hydrochloric acid, there are some enzymes produced by the saliva which travels down from the food pipe as we swallow it. It is also present in our stomach. The role of enzymes is what? To break down of the food. But the role of the hydrochloric acid here in our stomach. What is this role of the hydrochloric acid in the stomach? The role is to kill the germs and the bacteria, or to kill the remaining bacteria from the food which we have already eaten. So whatever the germs or the bacterial or some of the pathogens present inside the food are being killed or are being removed by this acid or are being burned by this acid so that it won't enter our intestines along with the food for the chemical digestion process. So in our stomach, here the chemical digestion process begins with the help of that acid. How the food will be without any bacteria which will be sent to our intestines at the bottom. So this is what the hydrochloric acid present in our stomach. Speaking about the intestines, later we will see about the intestines. So right here the food will travel below the stomach first. You will see, refer the diagram from the previous session, and you will see right over here the pancreas. These pancreas or pancreatic gland. This pancreatic gland is like the leaf-like structure below the stomach that produces digestive enzymes. That produces digestive enzymes. So these digestive enzymes are what? For the purpose to break down of food. So the acid from the stomach and the digestive enzymes. So acid from the stomach and digestive enzymes from the pancreas will move in our smaller intestine later. We will see. So first we have mentioned here the stomach produce hydrochloric acid, then the pancreas producing digestive enzymes, releasing those into our intestines, the stomach and the pancreas. So stomach on the left side, always remember, stomach is on our left side, size of our two fists slightly shifted. And right below the stomach on the left side only, we have the pancreatic gland. We have got the pancreatic gland. This is also the 𝐏𝐸𝐴𝐷 gland, we can say, because in the digestive system, we will study this pancreatic gland just producing digestive enzymes. But if we will study this pancreas, this pancreatic gland below the stomach in the endocrine system or the system which makes hormones, hormonal changes like thyroid gland, for example. So there are different glands with each and every chakra in our body. For the specific 7 chakras, we have the 7 glands in our body, majorly. Pancreas is also one of it. That part of pancreas, the role of pancreas in that system, endocrine system, is different. That is helpful for the balance of glucose or insulin, to balance the level of glucose and insulin in our body. But here the role of the pancreas is different. That glucose and insulin were the hormones in that system, endocrine. But the exocrine system, that means our digestive system, exocrine means which does not produce any hormones. Here the role of the pancreas is just to produce the digestive enzymes to digest the food chemically in our intestines. Okay. So what have we studied up to here today? We have seen the oral cavity. Then further we have seen what in the oral cavity about the teeth, tongue, and the salivary glands. So the number of teeth, the 32. The salivary glands we started today. Here we have seen the 6 salivary glands. in a set of 3 on each side. So we have parotid gland that produce saliva in your mouth. Even if you will rub your cheek here, you will make sure you will feel the amount of saliva produced in your mouth automatically. If you will rub over here below this mandible bone, which is the mandible bone, you will know it when you will study the skeletal system later. So below the mandible bone, we have submandibular gland. And below the tongue, we will have the sublingual gland. So these two glands below the tongue, below the mandibular bone, and at the side of the cheek will make sure to produce saliva, which will help this food to make it soft. And then we have the tongue with the taste buds, which will hold and grip the food and will make it easy for us to swallow it. So from the oral cavity, the food will pass directly to the throat region. If you will check your notes before what we have written in the throat region, you have the end of the oral cavity. Right over the end of the oral cavity in the food pipe above, you will find out the oesopharynx region. Then below the oesopharynx, laryngopharynx region. So 2 regions of the throat in the digestive system. Only one pipe, 2 regions. The next is epiglottis, this blue shaded you will see. This epiglottis is nothing but what? This lack of tissue which always works as an involuntary organ and that allows the food to travel into the food pipe only. If in case it makes the food drop some part of the food in our windpipe, then we cough. So it is what? Epiglottis. Then we have the food pipe which connects our throat to our stomach. It takes many waves of peristalsis for this food pipe to travel the food into the stomach. In the stomach, we will have the acid. The name of that acid written down here, hydrochloric acid. This hydrochloric acid will help to kill the germs and the bacteria and the pathogens inside the stomach. Will help allow the food to pass through the small intestine, which we have to see tomorrow. Below the stomach, we also have seen the pancreas that also produces digestive enzymes. And the role of this enzyme is to break down of food into more smaller components. This is nothing but our chemical digestion. Here it was the mechanical digestion. With the help of the teeth, we cut. Mechanical process. This is chemical process, all with the acids and the digestive juices. Clear? I hope it is clear. Made it very simple for you all. Keep watching the recording session if you have missed this session, and try to ask any doubt to the school. The management will let me know about the questions you had. So before I end up with the session, I would like to chant a prayer, a closing prayer and the Om one time. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much, people. Have a good day ahead. Thanks a lot. We have this much time. See you soon tomorrow. Namaste from Himalayan Yoga School. Thank you so much.